Scientists figured out when humans started wearing clothes by studying lice DNA. Yeah, a tiny blood-sucking parasite accidentally left a timestamp on one of the biggest inventions in human history. Picture an early human stepping into morning sunlight, shivering, scratching mosquito bites, and somehow not yet realizing that one day people would argue for 20 minutes about which hoodie matches their mood. That is the strange thing about clothing. It feels completely ordinary now. We wake up and cover ourselves before we open the front door, answer a delivery, or stand near another human being. In many places, society does not merely prefer clothing, it demands it. A bare body can become a legal problem, a moral panic, or a viral disaster. Yet for most animals, this entire situation would be incomprehensible. A wolf does not wake up embarrassed. A bear does not search for socks. Nature already dressed them fur, feathers, scales, shells, blubber. Then there is us, a large primate with suspiciously exposed skin, patchy hair, and an unlimited talent for making fabric complicated. So why did we start covering ourselves at all? The honest answer is that no one can point to the first shirt. Cloth rots. Hide decays. Plant fibers disappear. Archaeology rarely preserves the soft things that touched ancient skin, but science has found clues in stone tools, needles, pigments, cold climates, and most weirdly parasites. One of the best witnesses in the history of fashion is lice. First, we need to understand the naked ape problem. Humans are unusually hairless for large mammals. Our closest relatives still wear natural coats. Most big mammals do. Humans took a different path, exposed, sweaty, and strangely dependent on culture to finish what biology left open. One leading explanation is heat. As our ancestors spent more time in open landscapes, thick fur became a liability. Fur traps heat. Losing it, combined with producing enormous amounts of sweat, gave humans a powerful cooling system. The price of becoming excellent at cooling down was becoming terrible at staying warm. A hairless body can outrun heat but cannot ignore winter. Eventually, covering the body became survival. But here is the twist: warmth may not have been the first reason. The simple story says humans left Africa, met cold weather, and invented clothing. It sounds tidy, but it may be too tidy. Genetic studies of human lice suggest regular clothing could date to somewhere between 100,000 and 170,000 years ago. Major waves of modern humans expanding beyond Africa are often placed later, around 70,000 years ago. If clothing began before large migrations into colder regions, then cold cannot be the whole explanation. Something else was already making skin worth covering. Now, the lice clue. Humans have head lice and body lice. Head lice cling to hair. Body lice live in garments, especially seams and folds. Body lice need clothing. They cannot build a long-term life on naked skin. When scientists compare their genetics, they can estimate when body lice split from head lice. That split gives a rough minimum date for habitual clothing, because the parasite needed a fabric habitat before it could specialize. This is disgusting and brilliant at the same time. A tiny blood-feeding pest accidentally preserved a timestamp for human clothing. Fashion left fossils in the DNA of lice. The parasite moved in because humans had built it a house. So what was that first house made for? One likely answer is protection, not a tailored outfit, not style, but a simple hide or wrap that shielded skin from sun, thorns, insects, and bites. Imagine walking through thorn scrub with bare thighs and no modern medicine. Small cuts matter. Infections matter. A crude animal skin between your body and the world could be the difference between walking and not surviving the week. Boring as that sounds, boring survival tools often change history. The first clothing may have been less about modesty and more about reducing pain. But protection is only half the story, because humans almost never stop at useful. We turn useful things into signals. Long before clear evidence of tailoring, humans were using pigments like ochre on their bodies. Body decoration appears very deep in our past, meaning the urge to make the body communicate may be older than clothing itself. A special hide, a shell, a feather, a pattern on skin, all of these say something without words. Who are you? Which group is yours? Are you hunter, healer, leader, or grieving? Once a hide becomes more than a hide, clothing begins to speak. Then the archaeological record gives us a more advanced tool, the needle. Around 50,000 years ago, eyed bone needles appear, including a remarkable example from Denisova Cave in Siberia. A needle with an eye is not just a pointy object. It means thread. It means stitching. It means pieces joined with intention fitted clothing instead of draped material. A needle is small, but in cold country it can become the difference between walking and dying. Think about the intelligence inside that object. Someone had to select bone, shape it, polish it, pierce a hole without breaking it, and use it to join material again and again. That is engineering in miniature. It implies planning, measuring bodies, sealing gaps, layering skins, and repairing tears. In deep cold, loose coverings fail. Wind sneaks in through every gap. Heat escapes from wrists, ankles, and neck. Fitted clothing traps warm air close to the body and creates a portable microclimate. For humans pushing into glacial Europe or Siberia, this was technology as critical as a spear. The body did not evolve fur back. The mind invented a substitute, and modern humans were not alone in solving this. Neanderthals almost certainly processed hides and wore skins through harsh climates long before we arrived. Here is what makes clothing truly human. If it were only practical, cultures would settle on the most efficient outfit for each climate and never change. Arctic people would wear maximum warmth. Desert people would wear maximum sun protection. End of story. But that is not what humans do. Humans make clothing symbolic. Across cultures, garments mark age, status, work, grief, celebration, religion, authority, rebellion, wealth, and belonging. A crown is not warmer than a hat. A wedding dress is not built for survival. A uniform is not only cloth, it is permission and hierarchy stitched together. Even ancient textiles were dyed and patterned. Dye takes labor. Pattern takes intention. People spent time on beauty because meaning has survival value too. Social groups need signals. Signals create bonds. The body became a message board before writing existed. This is why clothes feel so personal today. You choose colors, shapes, and coverings that say something even when you pretend they do not. You dress for weather, but also for work, attraction, respect, tribe, and mood. You are still using cloth as language, just like the first person who tied a recognized cord around their waist beside a fire. So why did ancient humans begin wearing clothing? Because several forces collided at once. Our ancestors lost their fur and became expert sweaters. Exposed skin needed protection. Social life turned appearance into communication. Cold climates made insulation essential. Needles made garments precise. Symbolic minds made coverings meaningful. Then, agriculture and trade transformed clothing into civilization. Flax became linen. Wool became wealth. And the first wrap eventually became a world economy. There was probably no single morning when someone invented clothes. More likely, it happened in overlapping steps: a skin for protection, a cord for holding it, a mark for meaning, a stitch for warmth, a dye for identity. Clothing did not arrive as one invention. It accumulated around the human body. Whatever you are wearing right now, it says something. Maybe it says you are working. Maybe it says you stopped caring halfway through the week. But it says something because humans made clothing into a language we speak before opening our mouths. If this changed how you see something as ordinary as getting dressed, like this video, and join Winds of Thought for more stories about the hidden inventions that shaped us. And tell me in the comments, if you were dropped into the deep past, what would you want first? A spear, a fire, or a very good coat?